Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Pre-Heresy and Codices, where I look at one Space Marine Legion per ramble, give you my thoughts on what codex or codices would best represent that legion in a 40k army list build, and I talk a little bit about collecting that legion. So this time it's going to be the Night Lord's Legion. And right off the bat, we can see the color scheme for the legion hasn't really changed pre to post heresy. That blue with the lightning effect and all that good stuff is still there post heresy. So that hasn't changed. They do have a unification era color scheme that they actually utilize in one of their legion detachments still during the heresy and whatnot. But that color scheme, as you can see here, is basically very similar. It's kind of that same blue without the lightning effect on it, and then it has a red shoulder pad inset for the left shoulder pad. So that's cool. They call themselves the Crimson Suns in the Legion. I don't know if the Crimson Suns was a name they had during the Unification era or whatnot. I can't remember. But that is a Unification era color scheme if that's something that interests you. So with that being said, let's look at what codex can best represent this force. Now, you could go Chaos or you could go Blood Angels with heavy restrictions placed upon itself, and common sense ones, like you're not going to take Sanguinary Guard in a Night Lords utilizing that codex. You're not going to go with Mutilators, Obliterators, or Demon stuff, or Occult Legions in the Chaos Codex to represent the Night Lords. So you're going to have restrictions no matter what codex you go with for any Space Marine Legion, but certain codices imply more and more restrictions, or you need to put more and more restrictions on yourself because of it. And that can get to be problematic and kind of make you feel kind of hampered in what you're doing. So my ultimate choice would be the generic Space Marine Codex. I know it sounds like a broken record. A lot of these legions are going to be going that route, just so you know. It's a very good option. It's very open-ended. You have multiple chapter tactics to really help you with that. So I think it can work very well. Now, this codex also has restrictions because we're talking about a 40k codex to represent a 30k force. So no Land Raider, Crusader, or Redeemers, no Legion of the Damned squads, no Centurion squads, and I'd stay away from the Flyers. The rest of the codex is yours to do with as you will. So that's pretty good. I think that ultimately leads to the easiest and the best choices for ease. I know it sounds kind of redundant, but if you're looking for an easy way to do this, maybe your ultimate goal is to actually collect a 30k force utilizing the Forge World Horus Heresy books, but you want to play in a 40k game, hence the purpose of these rambles. This would be probably the easiest codex to just ease into with your collection. So with that being said, let's look at collecting a Night Lord's force. So right off the bat, Forge World's generic Legion Astartes Horus Heresy range will work perfectly for the Night Lord's Legion. It'll work perfectly for any Legion. Remember, there's no Mark 7 power armor, so stay away from the Mark 7 helmets and stay away from the Imperial Eagle on a chest plate at the very least. And for Terminators, you need Tartaros, or my personal favorite, the Cataphracti Terminator armor to represent them properly. Other than that, while there is a difference for the Heresy era for the Rhino and the Predator, I think the GW ones can work just fine if you're in a pinch. You know, if you're in a pinch and you got to really make things work, it will work just fine. But the Land Raider, I would recommend trying to go for the Land Raider look from Forge World. Not the Mark IIB, the other one. The reason I say not the Mark IIB is because the Mark IIB was an absolute pain to put together. Anyways, so that works out very well, and the Night Lords is a legion that has their miniature range basically set up. They're doing the finishing touches on the Primarch, but I've seen shots of that Primarch model as a work in progress stuff, and it looks very good. So we basically have the range for the most part for this legion. So we have head and torso upgrades, which look very good. They're very much in the theme of the Night Lord's Legion. So if you're trying to utilize what you can from Space Marine kits or Chaos Space Marine kits from GW, these torso and head upgrades can really help stretch that kit out for you, because you're not going to make use of everything in those kits because of the Mark 7 helmets and whatnot. So those upgrade pieces from Forge World are very nice. We have shoulder pads that are very nice from Forge World. We have Land Raider and Rhino doors, which work very well. We also have a Contemptor Dreadnought for the Night Lords specifically. Now, I'm just talking about a Codex in 40k as is. I'm not talking about any 40k supplemental rules from Forge World, which include the Dreadnought. So the Contemptor Dreadnought would just have to be representing a regular Dreadnought in your 40k army list with just the Codex. And I personally wouldn't have a problem with somebody doing that, because they look cool, so why not? So you can do that. There are Forge World rules for Contemptors in 40k armies, and of course in 30k. So there is that to choose from as well. And then we have the Night Raptors kit. Now the Night Raptors kit is very nice. It looks cool, it looks different, so you can use it to have a particular squad stand out. The Raptor squad from the Chaos Space Marine Codex, use it for that. You can use it for the Vanguard veterans of the Space Marine Codex. And one thing to talk about the Blood Angels Codex real quick, you could use it to represent accounts as Death Company. And I say that because the Death Company infantry, why not utilize them for the Night Lords? They're all about terror tactics. So if you get the Night Raptors kit, build it as is, so it's jump pack guys, you can use it in any of the 3 codices to represent something and use it in the 30k army list, no problem. So that is also something to consider. Now, if you want a regular Dreadnought, Forge World's got you covered. There is a Night Lords regular Dreadnought. It's in the 40k section of Forge World's website, and it's in the Chaos Dreadnought section. But it doesn't look very, corrupted or mutated. So it can definitely work for you in a Pre-Heresy, Horus Heresy era army build. And it stands out and looks more menacing than the plastic GW Venerable Dreadnought. So that's basically it from Forge World specifically. On GW's side of things, it's not much for us, to be honest. Now the Raptor kit, to build as Raptors and not Warp Talons, so the actual building them as Raptors, I think, can definitely work for the Night Lords. It's a little bit of a stretch, but being spiky and menacing looking and all that good stuff works well with the Night Lords imagery. So I see no reason why you can't do that. It can definitely work for you in a pinch. If you want to have something that looks different, stands out, but you don't want the Forge World Night Raptors, the regular Raptor kit can work for you. And again, it can work to fill in those 3 previously mentioned squads in the 3 different codices. So that's great. We also have something that I want to make mention of that I don't really think is worth picking up for this, because you can only use roughly half of it, a little bit more than half, and that is the Night Lord Conversion Pack. If you were making a 40k army of Night Lords, this thing would be perfect for you. But what it includes is 10 heads, 10 shoulder pads, and then a power sword arm with a shoulder pad on it. And unfortunately, those heads, at least for me, really look Mark 7 like. Too close to Mark 7 looking for me personally to utilize, so I recommend not. Now for you, you might be able to say, oh no, I can utilize these heads no problem. That's why I'm showing them. If that's fine for you, then go for it. Or if you feel the price tag of basically $19 for half the pieces is still worthwhile for you to pick up one, then go for it. But me personally, I'd stay away from it because I wouldn't be able to utilize all of it. But nevertheless, that is there. Now, in the Chaos Space Marine kit, they have these weird skull helmet looking things that work very well for Night Lords. So if you have any of those, you're definitely going to want to save them and use them for your Pre-Heresy Night Lords if you're going to build Pre-Heresy Night Lords. But there is one thing I do want to make mention of, but before that, the Crimson Suns thing I was talking about earlier. How the Night Lords still have a detachment to fight in the Unification era color scheme. If you find yourself with a squad of very basic looking Marines, you could pan them up with Crimson Suns, and especially if you're not going to give them too much crazy weaponry, they could be tactical Marines. They could be a Stern Guard squad because they're painted up different and look very different in that regard. Or depending upon what size you're going for and what you're giving them weapon-wise, they can do anything, Devastators, whatever. It's just an idea if you want something to make your army visually pop by having something that looks obviously different from the rest in there. So just worth mentioning. But lastly, there's a sprue from GW Direct that you can order is $15 essentially, and it's called the Chaos Space Marines Tank Accessories. It looks like this sprue here because it is. Use common sense. Things that look particularly warp mutated, like little ammo, the little armor panels, that's the word, that you could put on the side of vehicles. Some of them look like leering demon heads in the metal. Don't want to use that unless you have a clever way of making it look like it's done on purpose for scaring you, because they do terror tactics, so it could still work for you. But that, and then any Mark 7 helmet or Tau head on these spikes, and I think there might be a Tau head or a Mark 7 helmet in there, you don't want to utilize. With the Tau head, if you file it a bit, you can kind of make it look like a generic helmet thing, but a Mark 7 powered armored helmet, you're going to want to either make use of it or just clip that and put it to the side and don't use it. But my point for this stuff is not just for your vehicles. You can take these spikes, these chains, put it on your dreadnought, put it on your vehicles, put it on infantry. For example, you can take some of the spikes that are sticking up with a skull impaled on it, clip off the base of that, and then glue it to the backpack of your powered armored Space Marines, or glue it to the back of your Terminator. It can really help things stand out. You can take some of these small chains and put it on your dreadnought. If you're going to use a generic Mark IV dreadnought from Forge World, or a generic Venerable dreadnought from GW, you can help make it look more menacing and spice it up with these bits from here. So yeah, it's $15, but the stuff can go a long way. Like, you can take these meat hook, kind of tow hook looking things, and put them on, like, again, on a backpack or on a vehicle. Just make it look menacing and scary. Remember, that's the Night Lord's whole thing. So I think that can definitely work visually for you. So with that being said, that's it for the Night Lord's Legion. I highly recommend the Chaos Space Marines tank accessories and then divvying up those bits amongst your army. I think it's going to look very good. So, with that being said, the next Legion up on the block is going to be the Blood Angels Legion. So thanks for sticking through this. I know people want to see specific legions. I'm going in numerical order for the legions. So I will get to them all. So thanks for sticking through it, and until next time, take it easy.